Hello, NFL fans and especially Packer fans. Welcome to Kempner Sports. We're recapping the Week 13 game versus the Giants. We went into the snowy New York City to play this one, and we were hoping to have a bounce back. Last week was horrific against the 49ers, playing a much weaker team in the Giants. And we were hoping there would be a bounce back, which there was. We won 31-13, and dominating performance by us, especially in the second half. Just to get into it real quick here, some real highlights I thought was the emergence again of Lazard. We need a second wide receiver, as Allison and Valdez-Scantling still have not proven themselves to be the number two. Jimmy Graham is hit and miss. So that first quarter dive that Lazard had, wow, that was amazing. That was fantastic. He had the second, in the second quarter, he had that TD is wide open. Phenomenal. He had 3 catches for 103 yards. I mean, that is fantastic. We need that kind of production. But the big named wide receiver that again showed up was Davante, my man Adams. Wow, 2 touchdowns, 64 yards receiving, 6 receptions, and 10 targets. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers' favorite player. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he had a bounce back game after being not having a lot to play with and work with last week. He had 243 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. That third quarter where Rodgers hits Allison under pressure, an incredible play. Wow, I thought he played much better. Obviously didn't have the pressure. So I mean, you give Rodgers time and he can carve up a defense, and that touchdown under pressure again to Mercedes Lewis was pretty fantastic. So. Good day. Interesting thing about the Packers, though, when it comes to the run game, didn't you think that Aaron Jones had a phenomenal day? He was his epic self. Well, when you start looking at the stats, he didn't actually have that great of a day. You know that he didn't lead the team in rushing. Jamal Williams had 10 carries for 41 yards. Meanwhile, Jones had 11 carries for only 18. I know, that was really surprising when I looked at the box score. He did have 4 receptions for 13, but still, that's not Aaron Jones-like. And so, Rodgers had 3 carries for 24 yards. So that was a very, very interesting. So halftime, it was 17-10. Kind of looked like we were in a bit of control, but you just didn't know how the game was going to go. But then our defense stepped it up big time. Man, 3 interceptions by our defense. 2 of them absolutely terrible picks by Daniel Jones. But that Tramon Williams pick at the end, that was really nice. That's a lot of skill, and it was fantastic. Speaking on the Giants side of the ball, a lot of hype on Daniel Jones. A lot of hype on Daniel Jones, but he has struggled. He's turned the ball over a lot. I understand he's a rookie. He needs some time. I'll give him some time before I make any judgment calls. Rookie season, right? So, obviously has some skill sets there. Giants fans seem to be pretty excited, and rightly so. But those 2 interceptions, the one to Kevin King was horrific. That was, I mean, where were you throwing it to? He went right to our defender, and again, Darnell Savage was a savage with that overthrown pick. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Giants only had 1 really good drive. They had a couple moments there, but a lot of field goal opportunities for that. Barkley, I kind of been feeling... I mean, he's one of the elite running backs in the NFL, but he's struggled this year. I wonder if that injury is the thing that's just held him back. He's not as elusive. He's not as strong as he has been in the past. And especially against this Green Bay defense, you would think he'd have a lot of yards. He only ended up with 19 rushes for 83 yards. And so that's not really phenomenal there. But, yeah, overall, Dominating performance from us. We just kicked it into high gear in the second half. The adjustments made at halftime by the coaching staff was phenomenal. Then here's the thing about the Giants, like they're in the race for last place too. So it's not like this is a juggernaut team. They, with the loss, are now 2-10. Only Cincinnati is winning that sweepstakes by 1-11, and Miami beating Philadelphia, which was a shocker. The Redskins beat Carolina, another shocker. Puts those guys at 3-9 or 3-9. And so there's a tight race for that top 3 picks there, and the Giants are definitely in that spot. Good news is Monday Night Football happened, where the Vikings go into Seattle, CenturyLink Field, and lose to the Seahawks. Thank you, Seahawks. I know you wanted us to beat the 49ers last week on Sunday Night Football, and we couldn't. We were awful, but sorry about that. Thank you for this victory. It gives us a 1-game cushion on our rivals. And listen, we are now 9-3. It's a great time to be a Packers fan. Loving this, winning the division. And speaking of which, our schedule coming up looks to be fairly easy any given Sunday, as we saw this Sunday. But this... man alive, you think about this schedule, we're at home against Washington. Unless they play like they did against Carolina, it should be a win. We play at home against Chicago, again, division rival, but should get a win there as well. And then, but Minnesota ends up playing Detroit at home, so that should be a win for them. And then they go into LA and play the Chargers, who we've had a hard time with going into LA lately. But I don't think the Vikings are going to have any trouble there. But week 16, the Packers go into Viking territory, and that's going to be an awesome game. Looking forward to week 16. And then week 17, Minnesota finishes off at home against Chicago, and then we are on the road against the Lions. So it's going to be an interesting rest of the way down. The one thing that I'm concerned about is, can the Packers beat playoff teams? Because we got a pretty soft schedule here, so to speak, and we should be winning most of these games. Minnesota's going to be our only challenge. If the playoffs started today, now that Seattle won, they leapfrog, the Saints and the Seahawks would get the bye week. The 49ers would be playing the Cowboys. Are you kidding me? That would be a disaster. Oof. Anyways, and then we actually would host a home game against the Vikings, and actually looks like that's what's going to happen as long as Minnesota. So this is going to be a really interesting last stretch to the season. I'm excited for it. Man, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments, how Packers going to do, whether you agree or disagree with my assessments. Pumped about this season. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and go Pack, go!